Hi, this is Japanese Craft Beer Reviews, and today let's take a look at a beer from a brewery I like quite a bit. It's called Nara Brewing Company, and they're located in the city of Nara in the center part of Japan. And Nara was an ancient capital in the year from 710 to 794. It has a lot of history, a great museum there, and some wonderful temples. If you're interested in that sort of thing, and very, very old things. The oldest wooden building in the world, apparently, a temple called Horyuji, and one of the largest wooden buildings in the world, their main temple in downtown, called Todaichi. So it's a special place, population of about 350,000, kind of slow and sleepy. Seems like whenever I go there, I get the feeling they've been in a funk for about 1,000 years or so. But it's a fairly pleasant little town, for sure. The brewery that I'm going to talk about is Nara Brewing, and this is helmed by a man named Namioka Yasunori, and he worked as a brewer at Kyoto Brewing before branching out and starting his own brewery in 2017 in Nara. And they have a tap room, which is open only on weekends, and you can go in and buy bottles and growlers and that sort of thing from them. It is one of only a few breweries in Nara. There are apparently more coming. Nara Brewing is one, and then there's Nara Machiya Brewing Company, Sony Kogan, and a newer one called The Good Wolf, which I liked quite a bit. I went out there, out in the middle of the mountains of Nara, and the brewer there told me actually there are quite a few more starting up, so I expect there'll probably be around 10 breweries in Nara Prefecture soon. And they have wonderful label art and great names for their beers, including this beer, which is called Quo Vadis, with the inverted question mark, which of course is a feature of Spanish. And Quo Vadis, some of you may know, it was a novel, and it was also a kind of a movie made in the 1960s maybe. And Quo Vadis, of course, is Latin, and it basically translated as, where are you going? And it comes from St. Peter apparently saw the risen Christ in a vision and said, Domine quo vadis, where are you going? In any case, this is a newer version of this beer. It was made in 2019, quite a bit different, I think. That was 4.7% alcohol back then and 27 international bittering units. This, as you can see, is 7% and 24 IBUs. It was originally listed as a Belgian ale, but it is not. It's a kind of a hybrid sort of wine beer hybrid, and some breweries make this and do it very well. We'll see about this one. I think it should be classified as a sour wild beer. And on Rate Beer, the earlier version had 2 ratings only at 3.6 out of 5. Untapped, there were 184 ratings, and I'm not sure if they have separated into 2 versions, the 4.7, which is the old one, and 7%, the current one. The average for them was 3.78 out of 5 as well. So what's special about this beer? Well, the malt is Pilsner, and the hops are Nelson Sauvin, Hallertauer Blanc, and Citra. But the special ingredient is wine pomace, which is the skin and seeds that are left after it's pressed to make wine. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. It's spelled Pomace. I'm guessing it's pomace, or maybe pomace. So it's used in, it's kind of the sediment, the residue after pressing grapes for wine. And so it should have some wine yeast in it. And Nara Brewing also always has their little description at the bottom. This time they've translated into Latin. So wine yeast and the pomace as well from it. So it should be unusual. Let's give it a go. I'm not sure sure why they decided to bring this one back out. I'm not sure why they used the inverted commas for the question. Right. Okay. So the Nelson Sauvin and the Hallertauer Blanc should give it a kind of white wine, white grape sort of feature. Okay, it is pastel yellow with a couple fingers of frothy, very frothy, kind of chunky white foam. See carbonation rising. Okay, right away I do get the Nelson Sauvin kind of light white wine. Citra comes through quite well too. Grapes, I'm not sure, but I'm definitely getting the Nelson Sauvin kind of grapiness or white wine note and the Citra, kind of the Citra stink. Very pleasant. Okay, there's something going on here. Definitely, it's kind of thin. So again, the base malt is Pilsner, kind of thin and light tanginess. The bitterness kicks in pretty quickly from these three hops, and the flavor is somewhat similar to a wine. Definitely has some white wine notes to it, and that's not just from the Hallertauer Blanc hops, but certainly from the wine pomace which they put in. And I'm kind of guessing they might have used some other yeast, not just the wine yeast. I'm not sure if that would be enough to kick things off here. Yeah, I'm not sure. But certainly wine has its own yeast, of course, on the outside of the grape. It doesn't require big inoculations of yeast. And so this is, has both in it. I think probably some kind of brewer's yeast for beer and the wine yeast from the grape peels. This is very refreshing, very interesting. It's a very unusual beer, but kind of like a hybrid Pilsner Saison sort of thing going on as well. Really, really interesting. I wonder if they did put Belgian yeast in this. In any case, this is quite a unusual beer. It's not like something you will find many places. So give it a go if you happen to see it. Again, it's called Nara Brewing Quo Vadis, and it's a hybrid sour wild beer at 7% and 24 international bitter units. So give it a try. I would try anything by Nara Brewing, and check out their website. You can see all this interesting label art that they have, and the names of their beers and all that. It's really quite something. That's it for today. Take care, stay well, and bye-bye.